What's going on, guys? It's the boy Max from Mobile RPM coming at you with another video today. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing something that confuses a lot of people. And it's kind of an irritating subject just because of how often I read it, and I realize that not everyone understands what it's based off of. But if you guys just pay attention to my videos, you'll actually learn the true meaning behind this. And that is my 3D printed Beyblade V8. And I'm going to include V6 and... Wow, that glare is bad. That's better. I am going to include V6 in this. And the question in turn is, when is V7 coming or V9? That's not how engines work. Let's focus on one Beyblade at a time. We will start off from the beginning with V8. V8 is based off of the V8 engine that can be found in cars and trucks. My dad's truck, for an example, has an LS V8. There are trucks, like everyday trucks. You see a truck on the road, 99% chance it's got a V8 in it. You can find V8s in pretty much anything. Camaros, Mustangs. A lot of Mustangs do have V6s, but they also have V8s. But like Camaros, Mustangs, Challengers, Chargers, a lot of cars run a V8 engine. There is no such thing as a V9. And the reason that they are called a V8 engine is that the pistons are in the shape of a V. So you'll have one piston here and one piston here. They are connected to a crankshaft that will make them rotate. They are in the shape of a V, and there are 8 pistons in total. There are 4 on this side and 4 on this side. And that is how a V8 is basically set up. There are other types of engines, such as a V6, which is just like a V8, but it has 6 pistons instead. Now, they do make inline 6s where all 6 pistons are in one line. They have inline 4s and boxer motors. And boxers, the pistons aren't in the shape of a V and they're not in a line. The pistons are laying on their side, and they call it a boxer because the 2 pistons face away from each other and go in opposite directions. And this V8 is called supercharged V8. A supercharger is connected to the motor. It will have a belt that spins the supercharger, which forces air into the motor. It basically works like a big vacuum. It's pulling air into the motor. More air, more fuel, more power. Supercharged V8 is an upgrade from the original V8. And the original V8 is what I would technically call it as a naturally aspirated, which means it's just a bare bones V8 engine. Nothing more, nothing less. Supercharged V8 is a V8 engine with a supercharger, which means it's supposed to make more power. Air quotes included. Big Block V8, which is my new V8 that will be coming out, is the same thing as a regular V8. There are 2 different types of engines, big block and small block. And they are exactly what they sound like. A small block is, the block is where the pistons go inside. And the block, if it's a small block, is shorter than a big block. A big block has a longer block, and the pistons have farther to move. There are advantages to both. I'm not going to get into that. It's a little more technical than I'm going to get on a Beyblade. Big Block V8 is called that because of his gimmick that he will have. And we'll get more into that in the future. V6. The next V6 is probably going to be Twin Turbo V6. And a turbo is, well, how do I put this in simple to understand terms? A turbo is powered by the exhaust. The exhaust runs through the turbo. It makes the fan inside the turbo spin, and it makes what is called boost, which is pressurized air being put into the motor to give you more power. It's like a supercharger, but a little different. And you can run single or twin turbos. That's what you would typically find. Some people have managed to get more turbos in there. There is a creator on TikTok who has one turbo per piston, and he has a V8, so that is 8 turbos in total. So V8 and V6 are both based off of engines. There is no such thing as a V7 or a V9. However, there are V10s and V12s. I have thought about making a Beyblade called V10 or one called V12, but we're probably not going to go down that road. V8 is the defense type, V6 is the attack. V-twin, that you can typically find on motorcycles like Harley Davidsons, Yamaha Bolts, etc., etc. It has 2 pistons in the shape of a V. V-twin is going to be the balance type. Rotary is going to be the stamina type. And a rotary engine is basically a big pillow triangle, that is rounded on the edges basically, and it spins really fast, and it does all the same things as a regular engine, just in a different way. Rotary will have a special gimmick that will also be kind of like the name implies, but don't worry, we'll get there when we get there. This video is basically just to tell you guys that there's never going to be a V9 or a V7 because they simply just don't exist. And I'm not going to make a single, which is one piston, like what most lawnmowers, weed whackers, generators have, and my motorcycle. They all have a single piston. There's just no point in making one because I can't really think of a way to make it very interesting. V-twin, I can work with that. V10 and V12, that is just a lot of complicated stuff to do. And it's just more work that I'm really wanting to put into it. I like keeping my stuff as relatively simple as I can. Rotary is going to be the exception. And I will be working with another creator on that relatively soon. So yeah, guys, that is why there is no V9 or V7. They just simply don't exist. My Beyblades are based off of real engines. Toxic Rose, Shatter, and Gunlock Wolg, they are not based off of engines. Gunlock Wolg is actually based off of a Beat-em-on. I actually just used the name. Other than that, it has no connections to that at all. I just like the name. And it will soon become my very own because I have an upgrade plan for it. Shatter, that was just kind of a fly-off-the-cuff name. And it became a Beyblade. Toxic Rose, that was another fly-off-the-cuff name. It was supposed to be called Flathead Fury originally. And they do make flathead engines where the top of the block is and the head, they're literally just flat. It's what it sounds like. But Flathead Fury will have to wait for the future because that looked way too much like a flower for me to call it Flathead Fury. So Toxic Rose it was because that's the only thing that I could think of that sounded kind of cool with it being a flower. But yeah, guys, that is roughly about it. So yeah, I hope that clears things up for you. I might have just confused a bunch of you even more. I might not have. Simplest way that I can put it, never going to be a V9, never going to be a V7 as far as my channel goes. Who knows? Maybe one day some idiot will make one. No clue why they would. Makes 0 sense, but hey, there's someone out there who might. Yeah, guys, that's about it. No V9, no V7, V8 and V6, V-twin and rotary. After that, the engine series is done. But they'll all get their upgrades. I'll keep working with the engine series. There just won't be any new members. Alright, guys, that is about it. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the bell notification so you get all my videos because I upload daily. And as always, I hope this video makes your day just a little bit better. Live life to the max and stay awesome.